Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Quite a lot of you have asked me to make a video on how to pronounce plural endings. So let's have a look. First of all, obviously, there are many different ways we can form plurals in English. Now, there's the grammar side, how to form the different plurals. Many are regular, they just add an S, but then of course there are also some spelling changes and there are some irregular plurals. I've given you some examples like books, spaces, halves, and people. But in this video, we're not going to have a look at how to form plurals. We are going to have a look on how to pronounce the different plural endings. Now, we will only look at regular plural nouns, and they usually end with the letter S. We will not look at irregular plurals because they don't usually end in S. They are entirely different words, and so obviously the pronunciation follows very different rules. So let's get started. In general, we can say there are three possible ways to pronounce plural noun endings. First of all, we have s. Then, secondly, we have z. And thirdly, we have is. And hopefully you were already able to hear that the first one, s, is an unvoiced sound. It's a fricative, and it's unvoiced or also voiceless, that is the same. And what does that mean? Remember that we form some sounds in English using our vocal tracts situated here in our throat, and those are voiced, but others do not use vibration from the vocal cords, and they are called unvoiced. So if you put your hand lightly on your throat, s, there is no vibration from your vocal cords. However, in the second option, z, z, yes, you can feel the vibration very clearly in your throat from the vocal cords. So that is the voiced fricative z, our second option. And the third option is. Now, that is also voiced because we have the short vowel sound e followed by z. And together, is. You can always do the test and feel the vibration. If you do, that means the sound or the sounds are voiced. And of course, remember, all vowel sounds are voiced in English and also in all other languages. That is a characteristic of vowel sounds. They are always all voiced. Okay, so we will have a look at all three endings in detail now. Let's get started. First of all, we're going to have a look at s, the unvoiced ending s. Now here are a couple of examples, and I thought it would be better if you found out the rule instead of me just telling you. Let's have a look at these example words. And let's see if they have something in common. Clocks, plates, maps, cliffs. All of the nouns are in the plural or ending in the spelling S, and the spelling S is pronounced s with an unvoiced s fricative. Now, they have something else in common. So we're going to have a look at the end of these words and the final few sounds in each word. And remember, we go by sound and not by spelling. This is important to remember here. So let's have a look at the last two sounds in each word. First of all, we have x. Second, we have ts. Then ps. And then f. I know it sounds funny on its own, but if you do the little throat test here, voiced, unvoiced, let's just do this. X, ts, ps, fs. Hopefully you were able to hear and feel that those sounds are all voiceless. They are unvoiced. They do not use the vocal cords. This is what they have in common. So to summarize, the rule is this pronunciation occurs if the singular noun ends in an unvoiced consonant sound. And I underlined sound because, of course, we have to go by sound. Sometimes the words in consonant and then the letter E, but the letter E is not pronounced. So we cannot go by spelling. We have to go by sounds. So if the singular noun ends in an unvoiced consonant sound and we form the plural, the regular plural, and we add S, then the pronunciation will always be S, an unvoiced S. Let's have a look at some more examples. So here you can see a range of examples ending in various different unvoiced consonants. And I'm going to read them out and I would say repeat them after me to practice. K, packs, clocks, cakes, racks. Second line. T, cats, plates, mates, pets. And the third line, p, cups, tapes, maps, tops. I always think it sounds a little bit sharp because they are unvoiced and a little bit sharp, those sounds. Next line, f, cliffs, layoffs, roofs, chiefs. And the last line is a bit of a funny symbol. This is the unvoiced TH sound. If you don't know the sound, have a look at my separate video on it. Let's go over those words too. Paths, months, births. Hopefully you know all these words and the meaning. If not, maybe just look them up quickly in a dictionary. I try to use words that are common and hopefully you know them. All right, so that was the rule for the first sound S. Now remember, some of you might say, are there more examples? No. I mean, there are more nouns, but not more sounds really. Because of course we have a range of consonant sounds that are voiced and all vowel sounds are voiced too, so they will not come into this category. All right, let's have a look at the second category, and that is for the sound Z, the voiced Z, also fricative. Now let's look over some examples. I'm going to read them out, and again I want you to pay attention and tell me what they have in common apart from the Z at the end, of course. Cars, trees, verbs, bags, teams. Hopefully you were able to identify what they have in common, and again we need to look at the last two sounds in each of these plural nouns. We have as, is, bz, gz, ms. Yeah, I know it sounds funny on its own, but those are the last two sounds in each word. So what do they all have in common? Now, some of those have a vowel and z, and then we have b, g, m, z. Now, if you say those as, is, bz, gz, ms, you can hear and feel that these are all voiced sounds. So what can we say therefore? The rule here is that this pronunciation z occurs if the singular noun ends either in a vowel sound or in a voiced consonant sound. Now remember, all vowels are also voiced. Okay, so the rule is really if the singular noun ends in a voiced sound, and that could be a vowel or a voiced consonant, then the plural S will be pronounced as Z, also voiced. And we do this because, of course, if our vocal cords are already vibrating, we might as well keep them on and they continue to vibrate, and therefore we say Z instead of S. Let's have a look at some more examples. First of all, Z, when we have a singular noun that ends in a vowel sound. And I put down the singular and also the plural form, and also the vowel sound that is the last sound of the singular nouns. So first of all, we have A as in car, and the plural is cars. Then we have E as in tree, and the plural is trees. Next up, we have our schwa, as in doctor, and the plural is doctors. Next up, we have a diphthong, I, as in lie, and the plural would be lies. Lies. And then we have oi, as in boy, and the plural is boys. Now, these are just some nouns with vowel endings. There are more. I didn't list all of them. Essentially, you can just remember if the noun ends in a vowel sound, the plural S will always be a voiced Z. Now, let's have a look at the same sound, Z, but this time if the singular noun ends in a voiced consonant. And there are quite a lot of voiced consonants. So we have 2 slides for this. Let's go over them, and I would say listen and repeat them after me. First of all, B. Clubs. Webs. Bulbs. Verbs. Second line, D. Beds. Roads. Boards. Awards. G. Bags. Blogs. Eggs. V. Halves. Shelves. Wives. Moms. Teams. Films. Lambs. Now in this last word, lambs, it looks like it ends in b, which would also be voiced, of course. However, the b here is silent. This is a baby sheep, lambs. They make me think of Easter, which is coming up soon. And the last line, our other nasal, pens, nouns, questions. And I said to you already, there are some more because there are lots of voiced consonants. We have as in signs, pangs. There are not that many nouns ending in I couldn't think of more, so I only have 2. And then we have the lateral tables, rolls, balls, bills, calls. And then r and also the schwa with a r, the r-colored schwa. Now those are more found in rhotic English or often in American English. So doors, floors, colors, and waiters. All of them end in z. Obviously, it's not a long z, it's actually quite short. And you might think, I can't really hear a difference between s and z. Don't worry. Even if you were to say one for the other, it wouldn't be a huge problem. People will understand you. It's not a big deal. Of course, this is the correct pronunciation, but it does not really lead to problems in communication when you mix them up. However, now we're going to come to the third category, and that was the ending is. And from my experience, this is the one that most people find difficult. They don't really know when to say this and how to say it, and that can mean people don't understand you. So here it's really important to pay attention. So we have is, I and z together, all voiced, is. Say it a few times, is. And here are some examples. And again, I want you to find out why we have is in those nouns. Buses, prizes, wishes, changes, languages. Again, it has something to do with the last sound of the singular noun. So I put the transcript here for you, and we have a range of different sounds. At the end, we had bus, so the last sound is s, unvoiced s. Buses. Then we have prize, and this is a z already at the end, prizes. And before some of you wonder if I have misspelled this word, no. This word can be spelled with a C and a Z, and the meaning is different. Prize is what you can win in a lottery or at the Oscars. You win a prize, it's like a trophy. It's not price, what you pay in a shop for something. Then we have wish, ending in sh, so the plural is wishes. Next we have match, ch at the end, matches. And then we had languages, so this is a j at the end, jizz. So what do they all have in common? Well, all of those sounds have already a s, z, sh, ch, j, and that means we have to add is. Okay, so if a singular noun ends in one of those sounds, s, z, sh, ch, or j, we need to add is to show the plural form. And why does this happen? Well, because it is impossible to add another s or z straight after. We wouldn't hear any difference. So we need to add a vowel first and then z. And of course, if we add a vowel, we need to use our vocal cords, so we keep them on. And therefore, we end up with is. Otherwise, we would not really hear a difference between singular and plural form. So this is why it is important to pronounce this right. Otherwise, people might not understand you correctly. Let's practice the pronunciation of some of these. Is. First line, nouns that end in s in their singular form. Buses, boxes, choices, prices. Second line, z, causes, surprises, phases, prizes. So here we have prices, first line, and prizes. Different pronunciation and spelling and different meaning. Third line, sh, wishes, brushes, pushes, rashes. Push can be a noun and a verb, so this is not the verb with plural, with third singular s. No. This is push, pushes in its plural form. And the next line, ch, beaches, churches, speeches. And the last line, j, colleges, bridges, oranges, judges. Now, they are all a little bit more difficult to say. I almost feel like there's a bit more effort needed, especially the last line. And remember, for the last line, j, language also ends in j, languages. Quite a common word, also in plural, so make sure that you go over these a little bit more often so you know how to pronounce them. And remember, practice makes perfect. Now let's do a little pronunciation test. How do you pronounce these plural nouns? Stop the video, say the words out loud, listen to yourself, and then continue with the video. All right, listen carefully. Advantages, scarves, bills, tops, messages, prices, cakes, beaches, prizes. And here are the answers, you can see them. Advantages, it's jizz. Scarves has vz, voiced ending. Bills, lz, also voiced. Tops, ps, unvoiced ending. Messages, jizz, all voiced with is. Prices, here we have sizz. Cakes is x. The E is not pronounced in spelling. Beaches, here we do pronounce the E. Chiz. And last but not least, we have prizes, ziz. I hope you got them all right and this video has helped you. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below.